partners in life and work, and we are also partners in the production of a podcast series on dialogue. And we have with us today in our audience our first guest on this podcast, because we're just launching it, have just launched it precedingly, who are Ron and Star Nelson, who are also partners in life and work. And their life and work is now centered around a ministry called Sowing Seeds of Joy.
Now, we only met them about 2 or 3 years ago, and I've never asked you this question. How did you come up with the name Sowing Seeds of Joy?
Well, Helen and Harville, it's great to be with you guys.
Thank you. We're
Really
honored
is.
to have you.
Yes. Sowing Seeds of Joy. That's a very good question. And we've been asked that question a number of times. Sowing Seeds of Joy started not in Texas, but in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh.
That's where the name originated from the standpoint of God saying, that's your name. Well, we were a part of a church, St. Mark Baptist Church. Did a lot of work there. Did a lot of outreach. As a matter of fact, what we did was went out into the streets, fed the homeless, and so forth. And I gave this title to the outreach program there. It was Sowing Seeds of Hope. And as
Sowing Seeds of
hope.
Of hope. Sowing Seeds of Hope.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
And as time progressed, God got a hold of my heart. I walked away from my professional career, which was I was a federal agent, wanted to be more involved in ministry. I came home after a trip from Kenya, and I told my wife, I think God is telling me to leave my job.
Oh.
And I walked away from that job after prayer and some tears, and we said, let's start our own ministry. But we need a name. And I thought about Sowing Seeds of Hope. But then the Holy Spirit led me to say, no, that's not the name. I started reading the Bible, and I came to Psalm 126.
Oh.
Yes. Came to Psalm 126, specifically verse 5 and 6. And it says, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy.
Wow.
He who continuously goes forth weeping, bearing seed for sowing, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing the sheaves with him. And I looked at my wife and I said, that's our name. Sowing Seeds of Joy.
So,
Wow.
so may I add to that?
Sure.
So it began in Arkansas. Well, it began in Arkansas, and then we came to Dallas. Because how we got to Dallas is that when we got on staff with Dr. Tony Evans at Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, and he was over 6 ministries. And so what took place is that we reactivated the ministry, started acting in the ministry, say around 2012, wanting to take individuals back to Haiti, in Kenya, and South Africa, and then brought in that peace. And I said, Ron, I says, do you realize, I said this to him several times, do you realize we're literally walking out this message, Psalm 126. And I'm a researcher, so as we started doing the research, I started doing the research. I said, do you know that Sowing Seeds of Joy is something that we can give joy to people all around the world? We can give them hope. All of that is a part of it. So when you look at the history, I'm a researcher. So I started looking at the history and the dynamic. What are the parallels of African Americans who don't go out, say cross-culturally or globally? What can we offer? We can give seeds of hope, seeds of joy to individuals around the world, whether it's in Haiti, Brazil, the Philippines, Papua New Guinea, Nigeria, wherever it is that God opens those doors, we can give them, so we can sow seeds of joy into their lives. And so that was something that we parallel with our African Americans, with our cultural diverse group that we sow into. So that's how Sowing Seeds of Joy came up, and that's what we've been doing with the ministry.
Well, we've known you about 2 years, and I never knew this story. But what I couldn't believe is when we met you, Tony Evans Church here in Dallas, a very special church, but that somehow you were global. You were
Yes.
all
Yes.
in many countries
Yes.
also.
Yeah.
When I got here,
Yeah.
got planted in the church, worked in the church, God just was pushing me out the door, if you will. I enjoyed
He
my
said he was
stay.
going to retire.
I said
And God said,
I was
"That's
going
not
to
your
retire
purpose."
at that church. But as it will, things took a different turn. To God be glory. I do, in reflecting now, I know it was him that was doing this. And he said, you need to do what I initially put in your heart back in Arkansas. And that is share the good news of Christ, the gospel, the Great Commission, and plant it, if you will, into the hearts of those, specifically people of color, because there's a statistic out there that says less than 0.5% of the mission force today is African American. Okay. And we wanted to make a difference in that. And so we started training, equipping, and taking and exposing people of color, primarily African Americans, to the Great Commission and planting seeds of joy in various other parts of the world.
And may I add a little bit even more to that is the fact that we knew what it did with us.
Yeah.
When we took our first missions trip to Haiti back in the 90s, and the individuals that we were to serve in Haiti had not engaged with folks from America that looked like us coming to Haiti. And that was back in the 90s. And I remember a young man we took our children. I remember a young man taking my husband's arm and my daughter's arm and rubbing them and says, you know what? Just because of who you are, our entertain is Jesus. And because of that, we said, well, maybe I think we have a place that we need to be able to go and give hope to individuals just because of how God created us, you know? And that was empowering. So we felt like we have a platform that people of color, no matter who they are, they need to go out and give people an opportunity to engage and connect their hearts to God's heart.
It's all about
So that's what just all about. Yeah.
So I want to just kind of summarize that a bit.
Sure.
But not
We said a lot.
all of that. You did say a lot. And there's something I want to underline that got barely mentioned, but I want to emphasize it.
Yes, sir.
But the thing that I'm hearing is that you did not start in ministry. You started in as a federal law enforcement and moved into ministry. But you were working as a law enforcement officer sort of on the side in Arkansas. And there's where it all started. And there's a lot of details about how you came to Dallas, how you went through a whole naming process itself.
Yes.
And you finally got this name, and you then began to see that there was a global possibility here.
Yes.
So global.
But the thing that I want to emphasize, I think I heard you say, and I'm going to sort of put in here my point of view about this, is that most missions to African Americans have been done by white people going to African American, whatever country it is, but the white taking it to the black. You all are unique in a special way, in addition to all the other things, because you are African American, taking a ministry to African Americans, and that because you're African American, you have a credibility that white folks don't have when they take the gospel to African Americans, because you are African American. And I when I heard that, and I'm now remembering, we talked about that a little bit before when we first met, is that is a uniquely unique thing, and that you came up with that, and that you consciously were doing that. It wasn't just accidental, that you said, oh my God, we're African American, and we're taking a ministry to African Americans. No, you did that intentionally, because you knew there would be a credibility there that would otherwise not be available for you. Did I get that
Harville,
right?
You got that, but let me add just a little bit more in terms of how you presented that. We saw a void in African Americans going cross-culturally.
And African Americans going cross-culturally.
Yes.
Okay.
Historically,
Yeah.
African Americans over the years have not been, well, let me back up. Historically, we have a rich history of
Yes.
African Americans going and doing cross-cultural missions. Well, I'm
Back
talking
in the
about
1800s.
1890s to 1930.
Hmm.
Rich history. Matter of fact, the first missionary that left these shores was a gentleman by the name of George Lyle. He's Savannah,
Savannah.
Georgia.
Your
Former-
home area.
My hometown.
Your
Yes.
hometown.
Former slave, okay?
A former slave.
Yes.
Okay.
And he left the U.S., okay, and he planted 400 churches
Oh my
in
God.
Jamaica.
Mhm.
This is 10 years,
In Jamaica
In Jamaica.
alone, 400 churches.
400 churches. This is 10 years prior to William Carey. In the majority missions community, if you mention who is the father
Of
of
missions.
missions,
Yes.
they will say William Carey, not George Lyle.
Lyle.
Okay.
And many African Americans
Don't even know.
do not know their history.
Yes.
Mhm.
And as a result of that, we thought it very important to educate
Mhm.
and to train
Yeah.
and to challenge them
Mhm.
to go and be a part of the Great Commission,
Yes.
because majority wise, most coming from the West, most individuals in other countries only see missionaries as those of our white brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, for example, we took a team of 26 members, a church from Texas,
Yeah.
to Belize, not far from here,
Mhm.
5-hour flight from
Mhm.
Dallas.
Mhm.
We took that team to Belize.
Yeah.
When we took them, we did a lot of work, service in the community. We were invited to a church.
Yeah.
The pastor had no idea who
was coming.
was coming. We walked into the church and literally their tongues dropped
Yeah.
because they were expecting
Mhm.
an all-white missionary.
A team from they get large teams from Canada, etc.
Yes.
But they don't get people that look like us.
So what you were saying, Harville, is simply we were intentional about training and preparing
Trying to expose.
and expose
Yes.
African Americans and say, you too can be a part.
Can
of
be
this
a
work.
part of this.
Yes.
So thank you for getting that clear, and also congratulations for being so entrepreneurial and original, and also having a history, and that you were working in a context in which you knew the historical precedents, so you were not just walking into this place blind to what happened here before. You had a picture of that. So we met you, if we can shift now back to your ministry, and congratulations. I'm just sitting here amazed at what I also got tired all of a sudden. And all the work that you've
we
done.
get tired too, Harville. Believe me. We
I
were
can-
weeping, remember?
I can imagine that you are tired and probably don't even remember which country you left because of that. But we met you, I think, about 9 months ago.
About 9 months. Yes.
And we met you because we are trying to launch into, we're trying,
Told us we should talk with them and see if they would use their dialogue skills as
Yeah.
part of our desire to distribute it.
Actually, there was a member of our team on our board, a young lady by the name of Lori,
Laurie.
Lori.
who took your training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
That's
she
right.
came to us and she was so excited
Yeah.
about this methodology, this way of dialoguing. And she shared it with us. And the more she shared it, I said, the more we wanted to learn and we wanted to be trained too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember Lori very, very
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that story.
Yes.
But
So Laurie is the on-ramp of the introduction of you all, of us,
Yes.
and of you all
She
to the dialogue process.
Yes, sir.
So, as you heard on the on-ramp, this podcast is about how dialogue is being used by people other than Helen and me around the world, and in cases. So, and this is a podcast to sort of let everybody else know what's going on with this. And you all are a special case with a special ministry that's now inserted dialogue into your ministry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So could you say something about what it was like to encounter it? You already said something about Laurie was so excited you wanted to do it, so you came and got the training. Like how you encountered that and how you're using it in your ministry. Just sort of fill us in on.
So how are we using it in our ministry? Thank you for that question, Harville. When Laurie told us about it, she knows our heart for people, and we're always a lot of individuals that we meet, no matter where they are. We understand that they have trauma. All of us have trauma, and so that's one of the areas that we had added for our. We believe in discipling and developing individuals. So a part of our training of our teams and all, we knew that if they were hurting here, if hurting people hurt people.
Yes.
And so if we're going into all of these different countries and we are hurt, we can literally hurt unknowingly. And so therefore training was a huge piece of that. So we were doing trauma healing. And so if we were in Mississippi, we were going to do trauma healing, except no matter where we were going, we were going to insert that piece. So when Laurie introduced us to Safe Conversation, I said, wait a minute. I fell in love with the part that said the safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. The energy between was my sweet spot. And believe it or not, there are times I would say stuff that was not correct. But what I loved about you all, when you talked about dialoguing and not monologuing and being able to connect with people and giving people a safe space so they can feel comfortable with sharing their trauma. Mm-hmm. If I don't feel comfortable with sharing, I'm just going to clam up. And so therefore Safe Conversation was just another way for just to grow. And we just felt like so much healing could happen in those spaces. So for me, for families that needed to be healed, the ministry piece of it, the teams, all of that, it was just interwoven, I believe, into our ministry. And we say, we got to have this as a piece that we must add.
So something you all already had as a kind of policy or awareness was safety.
Yes.
That communities had to be safe in order to thrive and so forth. So what attracted you, one of the pieces that attracted you was the space between concept and that the space between being safe. And you saw that immediately was relevant to what you were already doing. Am I getting that?
Well, before I learned about the safe space, we had to go through your training.
Had to go through the training.
And when I went through the training and I learned about dialoguing, that's when I learned about the safe, the place in between. And so now it just propelled us into how do we grow with that. So therefore, training our leaders and training our board members and all of that, that's crucial because we needed to see how we can just improve in that connection.
Okay, so you move from your own training into training your leaders and the board members so that your whole leadership in your community is now oriented to dialogue and Helen.
Just when you mentioned 4 minutes ago, Safe Conversations, for the viewer to know, that's what we first called our dialogue training program, Safe Conversation Dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we taught people the dialogue process to have safe conversations.
I have to mention this because when I got more involved, or we got more involved, especially hearing both of you by way of Zoom and webinars and so forth, you've said several things, Harville, that just really, really caught my attention. One, you said one of the most dangerous things that we do
is talk.
That really, that really got my attention because that's true, and as a result, it started with us, how we talk. My wife always used to say this, and it came to mind when we were taking the training. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And then you say, and this is good because she said, there's a time and a place for everything. Now is not the time. And we, in our training, you ask for permission.
Yes.
Is now a good time?
Is now a good time?
Blank.
Yes.
Yes. So make an appointment.
So the other person will give you their undivided attention. And a person could say, well, you know what? It's not a good time. How about 30 minutes from now?
Yeah. So the making an appointment process was also useful.
The entire
So-
process.
Is there
It's great.
is there a story you can tell us about how this has gone over in your ministry world? Some successes or challenges, because it's always a
Yeah,
challenge.
We held a training
In our home.
in our home.
In your home.
In our home. Very intimate,
Mm-hmm.
a small group. Some of them were friends, some of them were part of our ministry,
Mhm.
you know, and we invited them in and we spent almost 6 hours together. And I can think of one couple that was there.
Yeah.
Not to get in great detail, but they've had some family dynamics with their children and so forth. After they went through this training, we got a phone call. And that phone call was a joyous phone call.
Mm.
We'd planted a seed of joy.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Mm-hmm.
And our friend, he told us, he said,
Yeah.
"Ron, this training, what we just
Yeah.
went through, we're going to have to practice some more."
It was uncomfortable at first.
Right.
It's
when
very
we were doing it.
uncomfortable. But I have connected with my children now.
wow.
And I mean, in a different way.
Different way.
I mean, they've connected with their children, with their parents, with the exes and the new people in their family. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just
There was
amazing.
a lot
And
going
they're
on.
using that
Yeah.
safe conversation, the dialogue.
Mirror someone back.
Yes.
They feel like you're listening.
Yes.
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 Well, this particular individual kept saying that he felt that he had lost respect
Mhm,
between he and his children.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I said, just take this in practice and use it. And he indeed used it.
Wow.
He's still using
And
it.
he's
He and
still
his wife
using it.
both
Still
are.
using
He
it.
and his wife.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's just one
That's
dynamic.
just
here.
one story.
And that's just
And we
one
have
story.
several stories.
Internationally, we have
Yeah.
where we're so excited about our team in South Africa, and that's where Lori is now. We have a team right now in South Africa,
Yeah.
and our Sowing Seeds of Joy South Africa, because that's what it is. It's an NGO in South Africa, and that team in and of itself, their heart is they're counselors. So that was a great fit for Lori. That's why we took her there. But they're counselors and they do trauma healing. So now they've been trained in the safe conversations. They participated. Lori has been training them, and you can see them reaching others. And this team is important because of the fact that they go to Liberia, Spain, they go all over South Africa. They have a lot of connections with mercy ships and other organizations all over. And then their daughter goes to Lori's going to Zanzibar. They connected her with Zanzibar. So we could see them using the safe conversation piece. So we've seen that experience as well.
Wow. So you've
That's just
not only done it
very-
here in your home, but you've taken it abroad
We've taken
to
it-
your African ministry.
Speaking abroad, matter of fact, a missionary
yeah.
team that's a part of us, they spend a lot of time, they're actually Kenyans. And we have shared this in the coastal region
Yeah.
of Kenya.
Okay.
Malifi, Mombasa, that
Kilifi.
area. Kilifi.
Malindi,
Yeah.
Kilifi,
And
Kangoni,
the team
Mombasa
there has been
area.
exposed to safe conversations.
Mhm.
And we're looking to go back to do some more training and preparation.
So that sounds like you've embedded this in your ministry.
Oh, yes.
So wherever the ministry goes,
It's
am I getting that right?
Yes.
Yes, you-
Dialogue goes.
dialogue.
Now, and there must be some challenges with that. I know we've run into challenges. What kind of challenges have you had with the dialogue processes?
Well, one of the
So-
things that we are very sensitive about is we're coming from the West. And
Ah,
from
yeah.
the West, as you very well know, we're
Yes.
very task
Yeah,
oriented.
yes.
Okay.
Check.
And so we purposely and intentionally take note of where we're going. We want to respect and honor culture. In some cultures where we go, making eye contact is not a good thing to do.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Uh-huh.
So some of the standard things in the dialogue setup don't work in some
Right.
You
cultures.
have to
Well, not-
contextualize it to
like
meet
eye
their-
contact.
Contextualize it, but also be willing to explain this is why we do this.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. And in explaining why helps to kind of pass on the various things in safe conversation that needs to be.
And we have to be, a lot of times you have to, the challenge is being vulnerable. sometimes, if depending on the audience, then we will actually open up and be very transparent, so we can connect with them differently.
Good.
And we stay with the people, so that's a good thing. Is that God has allowed us to be able to, we literally stay a lot of times in the homes of wherever we're going.
Yeah.
And so we get a lot of feedback in that different type of perspective by staying with them. Now that trust is being built.
Yeah. As we were talking about safe conversation and our involvement in the safe conversation, we started looking at some of our past trips. Even before we were introduced to CS, Safe Conversation, we were doing a little bit of it already. We thought about a time we went to Jamaica, and
as a couple,
we do married couples workshops, and we did that in Jamaica. And we thought about it and said, Star, were we doing a little this then? Because we
didn't have structure.
We didn't have structure. All right, the way it's set up, that methodology. But we were talking to these couples and dialogue with them. And I do specifically remember a couple coming up to us, a young couple, and they looked us in the eye and said, we just love what we just experienced. Both you and Star have been so transparent. You have created, and I hear them speaking to us right now. You created a safe space for us. And that's what safe does.
That's why it's, and I'm going to tell you about something. I just had a women's retreat with some of our leaders, because that's a heart, I truly love the women.
So what I'm hearing, you said you took there were women a part of your work, and you took some on a retreat.
Yes, some of us. So yes, Helen, thank you. And so we went on a little staycation, if you would.
Staycation. I've never heard the word before.
Staycation retreat.
Yeah, staycation.
So we've been planning this for years. We can never get it going. I started to call it soul care retreat, something of that. But we took several ladies, and some of these ladies I had already started mirroring and training in the safe conversation, the dialogue. So we were trying to get some things accomplished. So what we did was we literally did a lot of soul care and a lot of a space that everyone could share without feeling condemned or criticized. And so it was so special that people were regenerated and rejuvenated and restored. I don't know if that's the word, rejuvenate.
Rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Still brain fog a little bit, but nevertheless, it was very empowering, and that just happened. So we when we said it's embedded, we mean it. We literally want everybody to be a part of it because we know how necessary it is.
Yeah.
I think it's a healing piece that we need, but we don't even know we need it.
So you feel like it's a healing piece, but people don't know they need it. But then once they experience it, they feel so much better.
So much better. Yes, you got it. I like the way she mirrored me. Very important.
Harville, one reason we love going global, cross-culturally, is because, we found when we started traveling, there are a couple things that are coming very consistent. One of them is the cell phone. Okay, you find a cell phone everywhere. Yeah. But when we take our teams, we tell them, don't use your phone. Disassociate yourself from the phone.
Yeah, for a while.
Really dive into the connectedness, the relationship, that sort of thing. But so the phone becomes a distraction. Yes. When you put that phone down, and I'm all for phones now, but when you put it down and start focusing on people, human beings, it's a good thing.
Can I tell another story? I'm going to tell a story. We got so many stories because we've been doing this for a minute.
Well, I'd love to hear that.
Wait, you've been doing it how long?
Oh, wow. We've been engaged in mission since the 90s, but we didn't start literally doing Sowing Seeds of Joy until the 2000s. Right. And so you have all of that. When we started in the 90s, we were helping churches and organizations to establish mission agencies. Not agencies, but mission departments or ministries, etc. But the story I wanted to share with you, we were in Belize again, and our host, of course, remember, we're task oriented, right? And our people kept saying, well, well, it was this one guy,
Well,
Santi. Yeah.
There's a team from Canada.
Yeah.
If I'm getting it right.
Right.
I'm
I'm gonna let you tell it.
And our host, his name is Santi.
Crazy.
Just his name is Santi. Santi is very relational.
He is so
He's very
relational.
people oriented.
Yeah.
And he would take a team. We've been down there several times.
Yeah.
And he would take you throughout the community and
All everywhere.
talking to
Yeah.
people. He'd be talking to you.
We stop along the road.
And
You know,
he
very
would have- He
relational.
would have this team, whether they're Canadian or American, and he would say that the team would say, "We have so much to do," task oriented.
I wrote down.
Yeah,
task
that's all right.
oriented.
And Santi looked at this one gentleman who was with the
Yeah.
team. He shared the story with us. He said, "Santi, we can get a whole lot done if we just stop talking to people. We can do get a lot of tasks done." And Santi looked at him and he said, "You don't understand, my friend. The people are
the
the
task.
task."
Mm.
It's,
Wow.
yes.
And that's, and God,
Relationship.
yeah.
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 And
Relationship.
God told us
Community.
It's
your
community
people
and
are the
relationship.
task.
That is,
Yes.
that is,
And we don't apologize for it.
no, because that's reality. We are social beings and we need to be in relationship. We need to be in community. And Helen, you had a curiosity that you wanted to bring to Ron and Star, you said earlier, about,
Just I
Personal.
think I already asked.
about their,
What dialogue?
Personal.
Yes.
your personal.
Once you're teaching others dialogue,
Yeah.
like Harville and I, 2 times we had divorce papers,
Yeah.
even though we were teaching
We really needed
to do it.
dialogue.
Head on.
But then we stretched and did a couple of things, and we had a recommitment ceremony. But
I love hearing that. That was hearing your story, Helen, how you, like you just said, you had, that was very helpful and encouraging to us because we were there where we also were looking at possibly the, Ron never, I was, but we had a lot of challenges, especially about him being a police officer. And so hearing your story and how God has given you this platform to learn, and that you're not just keeping it to yourself, but you've actually shared it with others, and not just in the marriage piece, but also in other areas.
Right.
So that was very, very encouraging.
But it's
Yeah.
so important to use it.
Yes.
And again, two times divorce papers, and then we would stretch and grow, and then we threw away the divorce papers. It had a recommitment ceremony.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we've been married now for going on 44 years. To God be the
Wow.
glory. But it's always good to learn more and to get better. And we started this journey, meeting you all at least 9 months ago, then getting trained ourselves. And we see how important safe conversation or dialoguing it has become to our lives. Now, it takes practice. I mean, that's emphasized in the training. Practice.
Practice.
I have 2 grandchildren. I said, practice makes, and they go, perfect. No, practice makes improvement. The more you
I've
do
never
it,
heard that phrase.
I have not.
Practice
makes improvement.
the more you do, the better you'll get, and
Yeah.
you'll
Never get perfect.
get
yes.
best. Matter of fact, the largest room in the whole wide world is the room of self-improvement.
Yeah.
So practice it. So
We keep practice. We haven't practiced
I
enough.
like that. That's
so we've been intentional about using safe dialogue. I must admit, we have to keep doing it because it's not something that's normal, as you very well know.
Yeah.
yes.
It's not a normal thing.
No, it didn't
Yeah.
come naturally. You have to choose it. But then when you choose to use the sentences of dialogue, it takes you to a healthier part of your brain,
Yes.
and you listen. And that is the healthiest part of the brain, the left brain hemisphere, right brain hemisphere. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is between the two, and it releases dopamine, acetylcholine, norepinephrine, serotonin when a person listens to the other, and they're healthier.
Not only that, Helen, and thank you, because what you're saying is listening is very important. Can I get that?
Yes, Paul Tillich said listening is the first act of love.
Yes, yes.
Ooh, I like that.
Another thing in terms of the process that really got me involved is that of affirmation.
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 And
My
appreciation.
father did not grow up with me in my life, and even to this day, he's gone on to be with God. But he had never. I can't recall one time my dad ever put his arms around me and said,
Oh.
"Love me."
That's why we hug everybody.
And so through this process of learning how to give affirmation, because I am one of those, admittedly, who I need affirmation. I need to be affirmed.
Mhm.
And so that's one of the things that attracted me about this methodology, that you can teach how to give affirmations
and
and
appreciation.
Yeah.
validation.
And what Harville
Yeah.
and I do every night before we go to sleep is we sit on one side of the bed and we tell each other 3 things that we appreciated that Harville did that day, and he gives me 3 appreciations.
I like that.
We need to.
And
We need to do that.
sleep,
Mhm.
and
need
you
to do
rest
that.
better.
Mhm.
Yes, we need to do.
They say don't go to bed angry or anything. You need to. So I like that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard you.
Yes. Yeah.
So I heard you, Helen, about the affirmation of sitting on the bed on both sides
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we
giving
both
each
sit
other
on one side of the
appreciation.
bed and
Yeah.
hold hands.
And hold hands.
And then we pray for people we know who might
Yeah.
be sick or
Yeah.
need some help.
So you're modeling and still mentoring us. Thank you.
And still mentor. I have a question for you all as the founders of this methodology, Safe Conversation, Dialogue. How can we best be? I know what we've been doing already. How would you say would be? How can we be better ambassadors of Safe Conversation?
You've already started by, as you know, being the first guest on our podcast on Safe Conversations Dialogue globally. And that what I'm excited about your being our first guest is that you are global. So it's not like you got it personally. And thank you for sharing that it had some personal impact on your own relationships, but that you didn't just internalize it and use it, but that you've already begun to take it to other ecosystems here in the States and across the world. And that you have such a big geographical space that you occupy and go to and are distributing it in is being. So my answer would be, do more of that. Train as many people as you can, because you got the training certification. So you can train other people to do this, because what it needs is more and more people being trained, knowing it, distributing it, and encouraging everybody who uses it to model it, so they'll attract other people to, what is this thing you're doing? And that people become attracted to it. And so we expand that, because as we have said on our launching podcast, that we only have, our only goal is 2.4 billion people.
Yes.
So that's big enough for all of us to have a big chunk of that.
Huge, yes.
And you have already an ecosystems, large ecosystems that are global, where you're contributing to that number. So I think that, and I think that movements is becoming a movement. Movements after a while become autonomous.
That's a very good word, yes.
So it just
It
happens.
just happened.
People show up and it spreads and spreads and spreads. And so the more times we do it, the more energy goes into the world about it. The more energy goes into the world, the energy spreads across the world. And I do believe that what happens locally happens globally. And that what we need is more locals, so there's more global impact.
And this guy studies tipping point theory. How many people do that? And so that's where he comes up with all we need is 2.4 billion. And then the rest of global humanity collapse.
Well, he and reorganizes at this higher level. So we're coming close to the end, and I'd like to give you all a chance to have the last word and say, is there anything you'd like to leave with our audience?
That hasn't been said yet.
That you haven't said yet.
The star of the show is stepping up. Star.
Well, thank you for asking. Last year, we had a Sowing Seeds of Joy, our first Sowing Seeds of Joy gala. not
So
gala.
last year
We had our
you
summit.
your first Sowing
Had a-
Seeds
Seeds of Joy Summit.
Summit.
And we brought people from all these different nations. So we had people from Kenya and
Oh my goodness.
Nigeria and
To
Ghana
Dallas?
There
and
were
Cuba.
6 countries
Six
represented.
all these different, and all of it was a theme of unity.
Wow.
And that's where we introduced Safe Conversation literally to individuals that would be impacting different areas. So it was representatives
Oh,
from
wow.
the Philippines, we had LaCheryl and Lori to do the Safe Conversations piece. And so we had people streaming in or zooming in. And so our hearts just keep sowing those seeds, and you never know where it's going to take root.
Right.
And so now this year we're doing our first Sowing Seeds of Joy Gala. And we're doing that so we can continue to support missionaries and individuals so they can keep taking it and all around the world. And so we're doing that again, and we're doing Safe Conversations again with that piece. So we're doing that in October. And we did it October last year, doing October this year. And our desire is as we go and do these different summits around the world, that we always include a Safe Conversation piece in that. So
Right.
we're also having training in July.
And you have a training in July.
For individuals.
And if people who are listening to about the gala, can the public come to that?
Yes,
If
the
they
public.
can just get in touch
Yeah, they can
with you
come
all
to the
through
gala.
Sowing Seeds of Joy.
They can
Right.
support the Gala. They can go to sowingseedsofjoy.org. Thank you for allowing us to share that.
Yeah.
But I will
So
say,
sowingseedsofjoy.org, and they'll know all about your ministry and can see these events
Yeah.
that are coming up that they can come to. Great.
one last thing that I would say is our 2 organizations, Safe Conversation, Sowing Seeds of Joy, aligns because I think this word has been mentioned several times during our time, is
Connect.
connection.
I knew
Connection.
Yes.
So Sowing Seeds of Joy, our tagline is this: connecting the hearts of people
Yes.
to the heart of God.
Yes.
Connecting.
Yes.
And we've connected.
Yeah. We soul sisters and soul
Yes.
So
Yes, indeed.
brothers. Yes,
Yeah.
we are. Yes, we are.
So again, thank you all for the
Thank you.
invitation.
So now I didn't know that you all were using the word connecting. So that is beautiful because that is that we assume and operate out of the assumption that connecting is a reality. That it's not something you do, it's something you are, and you lose awareness of it, and then you have to reconnect.
Yes, sir.
But that our goal is to help people become aware they belong to the universe and belong to all that God has created.
Oh, yes.
We are one with the all rather than a separate, isolated individual. And so our ministries are using that's a very and I always push the word connecting so that it's a dynamic word rather than connection,
Yes.
which is a static noun. This is a adverb, connecting. So that's dynamic.
Excellent.
And so this has been lovely to have you with us
And thank you.
and to have your heartfelt and depth presentation of this work. And so thank you for coming, and we will see you down the path.